Hey everybody, Nick Nack here. This video is like a kind of a quick and maybe late video response to Mr. Lawnboy's post 1975. It's also considered to be a filler video for those who are waiting for my next countdowns that I'm in the process of making still. And speaking of countdowns, if you haven't checked out my most disappointing games of 2011 list, go ahead and check it out if you feel like. But anyway, that's besides the point. The video he made, I think 1 or 2 days ago, was about 10 games he's never played. And that got me thinking, why hasn't there been videos of this topic? Because it's kind of an interesting topic. And that got me, of course, thinking about 10 games I've never played. And mainly it's because I was unfortunate back then. But luckily I might be able to play those games now. So anyway, enough of the BS. Let me show you or tell you 10 games I've never played. And some of you might be a whole lot surprised. To start my list off of games I have never played, I'm going to start it off with a big shocker. I have never played Metal Gear Solid 1 for PS1. Some of you are you could get on the PSN for $10. How could you have not played it? Well, I own the game, and will soon later on play it once I feel like. But I just didn't grow up with Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, I don't know why. Also, the people whose houses I've been to who had PS1s, they didn't have the game either. I only played a demo of MGS1, however, and that's the closest I've been to. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 1. Sooner or later I will get into Metal Gear Solid series once I collect the rest of the games. Next game I have never played is Mario Galaxy, both 1 and 2. Maybe it's because I prefer the 2D Marios than the 3D. I mean, for some reason I just can't really get into Mario 64 when I was a kid back then. And that kind of led me to not pick up Sunshine or Galaxy. Although I don't have a GameCube, but that's besides the point. But yeah, Mario Galaxy 1 or 2. Considering it's $20 here in the US, I might want to pick it up sooner or later and play it. I have never played Shenmue, mainly because of 2 reasons. One, when I kind of first saw the game, or have been recommended to it by people, it kind of looked either boring or hard. But this was back then when I was a kid. And when I had a Dreamcast, I only grew up with a few select games. You know, games like Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure, and a couple of racing games, and also a couple of kiddie games, like 102 Dalmatians and Magical Tour Racing. But yeah, considering that wasn't advertised to me as much, and it kinda looked boring or difficult when I first heard about it, I haven't gotten a chance to play Shenmue yet. I'm kind of ashamed to say this, but I have never played Zelda 1. Mainly it's because I was a 90s person. You know, I pretty much grew up on the N64, the PS1, and then away the Super Nintendo. But yeah, Zelda 1. I know that those who ordered the DS earlier have a free copy of it, but for some reason, I just didn't play it yet. I don't know why. The next game I'm afraid to say I haven't played is Mega Man 2. Now I know that Mega Man 2 is quite possibly the best Mega Man game ever, or so I've heard from people, but just like Zelda 1, I unfortunately did not play this because I didn't grow up on the NES. Plus, whenever I did grow up with Mega Man, it was either with X or Legends. And I personally thought those two looked much cooler than the original. But yeah, Mega Man 2. doubt I'll ever play it because it's freaking difficult from what I've heard. Hey Mr. Lawn Boys Post, if you're somehow watching this video response, which will be cool, you're not the only one who hasn't played Halo, because I've never played Halo 1 either. Mainly it's because I was a PS2 person, and whenever I did play Xbox, it was at our people's houses, and surprisingly, they didn't have the first one. They only had two. That or they didn't have Halo at all. But yeah, I haven't played Halo as well. The next game I'm ashamed to say I haven't played is Chrono Trigger. Mainly because whenever I think of SNES RPGs, the ones I either think of or grew up on, were mainly Final Fantasy. You know, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 6, even Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. And pretty much those same people who had those SNESs that I kind of played and grew up on, they didn't have Chrono Trigger. Now, although I did pick the game up a few years ago for the PS1, I'm ashamed or scared to play it because I've heard that port's success. And I don't know why, but I haven't picked up the DS one. But yeah, haven't played Chrono Trigger. I have never played any of the Silent Hill games. There are two reasons why. The first reason is because I'm just new to survival horror and just got into it right now. And the second reason is by the time I've heard or known about the series, I was pretty much late to the party because they didn't have the first one at stores, and you know how it is with games. You want to play the first one before you get to the rest. So yeah, haven't gotten a chance to play Silent Hill yet. I have never played Resident Evil 1. Just like the Silent Hill series, the main reasons for it being is because I'm new to survival horror. I didn't really see the game at stores, nor have I had interest in them. Maybe because it was scary. And I was late to the party. Sure, there have been plenty of remakes for it, but I don't know. I'm just an asshole when it comes to spending, or I'm still debating on which version to get. And the last game I've never played is any of the Dragon Quest games. Just like many of the titles on this list, I was unfortunate not to play them because I didn't know about it that much when I was young. I just didn't feel like picking them up despite how many chances I was given. And the majority of the time, I could be such a cheap asshole when it comes to buying games. Although I did pick up, I think that one on the Wii, but as I really mean a real Dragon Quest game. But yeah, considering 8 and 9 are selling for pretty good prices, and they're considered to be the best so far, or something like that, those two are definitely priorities of mine to own and play. So those were the 10 games I have never played. I'd like to thank Mr. Limeboy's Post for coming up with that topic because it sure was an interesting and awesome one, despite it being common, I think. But we've never seen videos about whatever. Anyway, as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Take it easy, and until next video.